We do cooperate with different political parties, but the cooperation does not mean that if we are cooperating, you come up to my bedroom. Okay? You remain in the compound. You don't come up to the bedroom. And I am saying, you don't come to the bedroom. The bedroom this time around is the speakership. You cannot cooperate to the tune of the speakership.
I was actually shocked to see the holder of such a dignified office going to the gutters. First and foremost, I'm a guest of the national chairman of the NRM. I'm not an intruder. True, I don't belong to the NRM, but we have got a written cooperation agreement. Now, to make a statement that for Norbert Mao, who is a leader of the Democratic Party and who is the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs of the Republic of Uganda, to aspire to be Speaker of Parliament amounts to intruding or trespassing in the NRM bedroom. Surely, that is beneath the dignity of someone who holds the high office of Speaker. It is important to know that there are qualifications for Speaker of Parliament, and I have all the qualifications. But to be elected, you need the support of the majority of the members of Parliament, and the NRM has the majority. My only case is I should be on the short list. I should be vetted like any other aspirant. After all, I already sit in the cabinet, where I also sit by invitation, by appointment of the president. Now, that was not only bad politics, it was bad manners. The head of the family knows who invites. Actually, when I was young, there are many times I was forced to leave my bed for visitors, yet I was the child of the home. In our society, guests are highly respected, and anybody who insults a guest insults the host. So anybody who insults me, who has been invited by the president, who is also the national chairman of the NRM, is basically insulting the president of Uganda. I'm not an intruder. Worse still, I was supposed to speak, but I don't mind that my name has been removed. I understand Andrew Mwenda's name was also removed, and a few other people. I really don't mind. I have many platforms. But this is a time-bound contest. And after the contest, we need each other to build our country. So I totally object to that kind of approach. That is beneath me. And that's why in my social media post, I responded by saying, you know, this is not just bad politics, it's bad manners. And I'm a guest of the national chairman on invitation. And anybody who insults me has insulted the person who has invited me. But more importantly, she also knows where she came from. I think you would say that at least me, I'm a guest. Now, what about a refugee? There's a difference between a guest and a refugee. But for now, that's all I really want to say. Let us keep this thing clean. After all, the rules even forbid campaigning. What the rules encourage us to do is just to speak about our qualifications, which I have. But it is up to the head of the household. It is the father who knows his children. It is not another child who tells the father that these are our children or these are not our children. Who are you to tell your father who your brothers and sisters are? It is your father to tell you that this is your brother or this is your sister. So definitely that statement was beneath someone who holds such a high office. Extremely undignified, uncalled for, really gutter politics. I have already declared why I'm in this race. I believe that we need to balance the boat nationally. I believe that the political cake has got to be.
But we are not the ones who elect. We recommend, and we support our recommendation with the reasons. So if Odria wants to be speaker, we shall discuss it at the right time. Because SEC had recommended that we maintain the two. Because it become like a tradition. But this was now, stop, Nani. This was our recommendation. It is not us who decide. We recommend and then we can reason why.
So we want to tell him why we are coming. First of all, the faded image and respect or integrity of the Parliament of Uganda.
And right now he has responded by saying Odria has declared his candidature. However, SEC took a decision which matter is going to be discussed here.
I've met MPs in the office of the Speaker kneeling. I got disgusted, but I will no longer go to that office.
It is Mao who has said so. My principal from the NRM, Mr. Museveni, the chairman of NRM, the president of Uganda, has not told me. I have not heard him say anywhere that these are the 1, 2, 3, 4 elements in the cooperation agreement with Mr. Mao. So Mao may be, and you remember the president has actually rebuked Mao when he talked about a peaceful transition, as if Mao thinks that without that agreement we cannot have a peaceful transition. The president has rebuked Mao. But also, Mao himself has said peaceful transition, election reforms. It is now 3.5 years since Mao has been minister. Where are the election reforms? Where's the law on the so-called peaceful transition? So nobody should take Mao for the words he's talking about. I know he's good at flourish, but that's about all.
Who is fooling who?
I think Mao is fooling himself. Because if people had believed Mao would have been given a little bit more members of parliament, if people had believed him. But I think he's fooling. He's on his own errand. Even within DP, as you know, the vice president of DP, Mbide, has told the public that he's not aware that Mao is running for speaker. So I think Mao is on. Remember that Mao had tried the presidency against Museveni twice. What has changed that he went back to run for member of parliament? Do you think he has abandoned his ambition for the president of Uganda? So somebody who has competed with our president and said so many uncharitable things. I don't think by just seeking the speakership, maybe he's seeking the speakership in the hope that he can use that route to gain entry into the presidency. I doubt if he can succeed. But if we have used Mao, then he allowed himself to be used. Because I want to believe that by the time Mao joined the NRM cabinet 3 years ago, he had had the hindsight of NRM of 39 years. If he did not understand, then he's the one who has lent himself to be used, and he should not blame anyone. And nobody should blame us for using Mao, to use your phrase. Neither Mao should blame us, nor members of the public should blame us for using him. It is the same thing if somebody says, oh, why are you buying people? You who's being bought, how cheap are you that you are being bought? That after 39.5 years, Mao lends himself to this dictatorship, the thing he has been calling dictatorship, because the constituent parts of NRM has remained. But you see, there are people who come to NRM for different reasons. Some come for welfare, some come to get a shed, some come to I don't know what Mao weighed. I think that question should be asked to Mao. After 39 and a half years, what did you see that convinced you that this leopard called NRM had changed its skin?
You see, Honorable, I want to quote Mao. One time he said a statement that there can never be transition in Uganda without President Museveni, and that's why he extended closer to the power.
No, that's Mao's assessment. God forbid. Assuming God calls Yoweri Museveni tomorrow, he will not be there. Is Mao saying there won't be transition? And him overblowing his cooperation agreement, I think I'm using the word, the phrase correctly. I think Mao is overblowing. And who told him? Let him bring the cooperation agreement and we see whether it talks about him becoming a speaker. Mao himself said that his cooperation agreement was for him to be given a ministry. Apparently now he's not satisfied with the ministry. He wants to start picking the fruits by himself. You don't come to my compound and just start picking fruits by yourself. At least you ask me, which fruit should I pick?